To creating a community. This lesson is designed to help you identify the resources and support available for you as a caregiver. As caregivers, we are very focused on taking care of a loved one and being there for them during a difficult time. Oftentimes, that requires us to adjust important aspects of our lives, including time with family, work, hobbies, and friends. Those changes can impact you in a very negative way if you're not prepared and informed about how to take steps needed to protect your mental, physical, and emotional health. The key question we will explore in this lesson is, what factors should you consider when seeking support as a caregiver? Throughout this lesson, our goals are to do the following: analyze your short and long term needs as a caregiver, identify partners in care, and recognize when your needs evolve and require you to take different action. Let's start with an example. We were a few years into the diagnosis of early onset Alzheimer's when Mike, my husband, began to exhibit agitation and anger and began to lash out. We talked about empathy in the last lesson, and I understood intellectually what the disease was doing to his brain. And I recognized how that was being demonstrated in his negative behavior. So I was able to be patient and kind with him. I was empathetic to what was going on. However, I had not anticipated what his anger issues would do to me. The emotions that were triggered in me, I didn't know where to turn. I didn't know who to talk to. And those who gave advice but had no experience with my situation only made things worse. It was unintentional, but it made things worse. I had, quote unquote, handled things up to that point, or at least I thought I had. It was in that very moment, however, that I realized how important it was to have a support system or a community of people or a few partners in care that I could lean on. There are different types of support that you're going to need during your caregiving journey. And based upon the length of the illness or the type of illness, maybe your environment and the severity, the level of support you may need could change. Thinking ahead and anticipating what you might need is one of the smartest things you can do as a caregiver. You don't want to be caught off guard, exactly like I was. Take a look at the chart on the screen. I've labeled the examples of support by level. Level one, partners are those who have been either professionally trained or had direct experience with the disease and can help you with educated advice or counsel or resources. These partners might include doctors, nurses, advocates, in home care experts, or even associations and local support groups. Many have websites and materials that will help educate you and inform you. And knowledge is your best friend. A level two partner, I would almost describe as your understudy, who can take over for you if you get sick or you need to travel or there are extenuating circumstances that you need to address. This is someone who is up to speed on the schedule, has a trusted relationship with your loved one, and has learned about the disease along with you. And they can step in when needed without creating a lot of disruption. Those partners are typically another close family member, but don't need to be. They can be a friend or an in home aide. A level three partner can provide help with small tasks or specific activities that alleviate some of your stress as a caregiver. For example, children can participate in helping put puzzles together or playing games with your loved one. Teenagers can help with tasks around the house. Neighbors can help take the garbage out or shovel snow. Church members can help with meals. This chart is not all inclusive, but it gives you an idea of how to think about designing a support system that can help you sustain your role as a caregiver and not become burned out. The stress of caregiving without support can cause you to become ill, depressed, and overwhelmed. Without support, your physical, emotional, and mental health will suffer. Because I thought I could handle everything, I gained about 40 pounds, was often depressed, and was mentally fatigued. I was It was only when I reached out for help that I began to regain some sense of normalcy. You may find that you don't need a lot of help in the beginning, but trust me, better to have thought through and identified your partners in care long before you need them. They will appreciate that too, and you won't be making tough decisions while you're stressed and under pressure. On the other hand, if your loved one is already in a facility, your level of support will look different. Having a loved one in a nursing home, memory care, or even independent living means your role as a caregiver shifts to possibly more administrative or as an advocate. In my case, once Mike was in memory care and his level of support needed was 24/7, they relied on me to help feed him, shower him, and maintain daily visitation to ensure his safety. I could have considered a nursing home, but moving him again wasn't in his best interest, so I was willing to take on those responsibilities. This is a good time to mention that if you find yourself caring for someone over a long period of time, months or even years, I can't express enough how important it is that you take time to recharge on a regular basis. I know many of you will not want to do that, but respite, time away, a vacation, a day off here and there is fundamental and critical to preserving your health, your energy level, and your mindset. A reset can make you a more effective caregiver, and allowing some space between you and your loved one is oftentimes good for the both of you. If the disease is terminal or progressing, this is when you want to make sure that you have all three levels of partners in care up and running, so to speak. Now, I do know that some of you will have an easier time identifying by level one, two, three, those who can help you and who your partners are. I had the hardest time with level three partners. It would have made a world of difference if someone were helping me with meals and running errands. Taking Mike to the grocery store almost took an act of Congress, getting him dressed, especially in the winter, getting him in and out of the car, and then worrying about how he would maybe act out in public was incredibly stressful, especially as the disease progressed. Now, I want you to use your notebook or your journal to reflect and document your response to the question on the screen. What level of support do you need right now? And what type of support do you anticipate you'll need longer term? Now, you always want to hope for the best, but plan for the worst. Then I want you to use the chart to begin to identify the partners in care you need by level, if that makes sense for your circumstances, that is. Recognize where your partner gaps are and brainstorm with either your loved one, if they're able to do so, or with someone you trust to address the support gaps. Now, let me pause and say, you're amazing. I know that because I've been where you are, and I know how heavy the lift is. And if no one has told you today, thank you. And congratulations, you completed the third lesson in the Caregiver Journey program. Now, go take on the day.